Hey, welcome everybody, and happy Easter, by the way. Hope you guys are having an awesome long weekend. It's Monday morning, quite early. I hope you guys have had or are still having a fantastic Easter holiday. And guys, I'm going to show you something quite weird today. I'm going to work a little bit backwards. There's my spot that I've marked. This particular spot, that little hump, like a little, I don't know whether it was like a little anthill or a little clay hill of some sort, had some timber on it. I caught a number of good fish there. The biggest fish I ever caught on there was a 3.2 kg, but there were quite a few fish over 2 kg, so like 4 or 5 fish that I caught there. But keep in mind, it's when the dam was low. Okay, I think the dam was down, I don't know. Well, when I went there with the live scope, as you can see, what was the depth here? 9 meters, 30 feet deep. So as you can see, the dam was down quite substantially. But in the chart, we are on the Dragon, by the way, in Inanda Dam. For those of you, sorry, I didn't mention that, did I? Okay, there's the Waypoint. Okay, now, if you bought a satellite chart, I've got the lowest satellite chart that was ever available, or if you went onto Google Earth and you were looking for low-level satellites, we go to our chart options and we go to full, and you'll see, unfortunately, the dam never got that far. It never went down 45 feet at Inanda. It did at Goedertrouw. In fact, it went way past that. But fortunately at Inanda we didn't have that problem. So you don't have a low-level satellite for this area that I was fishing, well, at least the deeper part of it. And if you were just looking at the contour chart, so let's go here and we'll go to more options, chart options. We'll make that land only so we get the colors back. You can clearly see there's some form of like a little point. Something caused the sonar to hump there slightly, as you can see. But if you've been watching this video from the beginning and you saw that little hump there with the tree on it, your mind is going, I know exactly what's there. There's a hump with a tree on it. And from my charts, from the mosaic charts, you can see, it's a little hump, like a little clay hump or a little anthill type of thing with a tree, with a little small tree on it, some timber and whatnot. But if you didn't have that, let's say you haven't scoped that yet, because remember, your charts must tell you where to take your live scope. Your live scope, now this is very important what I'm about to say now. Your live scope and your Mega 360, it's not a sniffer dog. You don't hit auto and then it takes you to where the dead bodies and the other dogs that have peed and whatnot. It does, and where the drugs are and whatnot. It's not a sniffer dog. You are the operator. You have to take that technology to certain spots and then you scan it. Because remember, live scope, Mega 360, all that is essentially a blind person but with a cane. It's like a 70-80 foot cane around them. And if you know any blind people, you'll know that person with that cane in their hands can create a complete image in their mind of exactly what is around them. And just that, like sonar is, like what we see with the sonar, how incredible this technology is, that's what it does, but it's limited to that 70-80 foot range around you. Okay, so your live scope and your Mega 360 is not a sniffer dog. So if you say it's all I need, then you better be a bloody good sniffer dog. Or someone's giving you a lot of nice waypoints. If you're finding things for yourself, it becomes a little bit more tricky. Back to the chart. You can see, I would have identified that. I know what's on the screen. I can see that's a nice little point. Yes, of course, I would fish that. But if you zoom out and you take this whole area, there's a lot of little points and notches, and if you didn't know, if that waypoint was not there, and there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there'd be so many. Why did this particular tree produce so well? Why did this little hump produce so well? Okay, so let's try something else. Hang on, we've got more tools. We've got shaded relief. Shaded relief will show you exactly. No. Look at all those humps. Can you see all those little humps now? Let's turn that waypoint off. No, that's too much work. I'm not going to do that. Okay? Look at all those little points. If you're sitting at home, you don't know Inanda Dam, that waypoint wasn't there, you haven't seen this awesome chart behind you with a live scope and whatnot, how would you identify that spot? Let me tell you, it would literally be a miracle to spot that. It literally would. It would be extremely difficult. Maybe you say, but maybe you should zoom in. Well, let's zoom in and see what happens. Is that enough for you to say that's a spot when you've got so many spots similar around it? But look, as you've seen in the chart in the video, we go to more options. We go to Ultra HF West is what I'm looking for. Ultra HF West. Okay, guys, I just want to explain what's going on here. These were still the days of driving side scan out, me, manually, on my trimaran boat that I built for mapping. It was a lot of work. It was hard work, and as much as I tried and I had a autopilot on board and I had all this technology, it was still frightfully difficult to get the passes perfect. As you can see, you'd now think, hey, it's your local dam, why don't you go back there and remap it? Amy's running like a dream now. You put them in the water, she would do the whole of Inanda in 4 days. Done. Guess what? Can't. Hyacinth everywhere. Inanda is, I still think it's going to be a great fishery, but for autonomous mapping and that type of thing, forget it. Those days are long gone, and I don't know if they'll ever get it back, especially considering who's running the show. Back to the chart. Okay, now you can see that's what it looks like on the map. That's where the fish came off. Let's have a look at the video again. Let's play the video, and I'm going to run you through what is going on here. Okay. Wait, stop. I want to explain how the boat is set up. When I first went out, the first couple of times I went out with the live scope, I was really battling with where's this thing looking and what's the range and effectively what is the range. So I thought, hang on, I've got a couple of Lawrence units. I'm going to take one Lawrence unit, top left of the screen, and I'm going to take a 0.1. I had a spare 0.1 lying around, and I put the 0.1 on the head of the trolling motor. It took me a little bit of while to line it up so that I knew that the live scope transducer and the 0.1 were looking exactly at the same spot. Then you think, but you've got a 0.1 on your boat, why don't you just use that? Yeah, but remember, your trolling motor is doing this, and then your boat is doing this, and you'll see bottom left is actually the boat's 0.1. In this particular screen grab that you guys are looking at now, yes, 100%. The boat is straight, the trolling motor is straight, you can see the live scope, bang, it's on that little tree, everything is hunky-dory. But keep an eye on the two screens on the left, what happens when the boat direction and the trolling motor direction changes, and then the effect on the live scope. Okay. Everything's still good. The motor's still looking at the little stump. Everything's looking really good. Okay, the boat starts to drift off. Can you see that? There's a little... Okay, can you see that? the trolling motor, okay, I'm going to stop it there. The trolling motor I've got control of. So as I'm turning the trolling motor, it's shifting my chart to what it considers where it's looking, what is north up, right? And look how clear it is now, where you can see the boat is, if I was just using the 0.1 on the boat, it would have gone off by now, but it's the trolling motor that's looking at the stump. Okay, then something happens here, if I remember correctly. Let's let this video play off a little bit. Oh yeah, that's just showing you the range that I've got set up. Let me just pause it there. You see on the live scope, on the bottom right of your screen, from yellow into red into dark red, and then I've taken that same thing and I've put it onto the chart to give you that distance. How is the range on the chart compared to the range on the live scope? How accurate is it? Something to think about, something to have a look at. Okay, that's just showing you that. But unfortunately, as you can see, there's no fish on that tree. So, but look what happens here. And isn't this just Murphy's Law? While I'm sitting a little off the tree at that range, whatever it was, a mere 12 feet off from it, there was a fish nearby. But obviously with all my hunting on here and recording and probably making a noise or whatnot, that fish moved off from a safety perspective. And where does it pop up? Directly underneath the boat. Look at the bottom right of the screen. That's just Murphy's. You can actually see it on the live scope diving. Can you see how the line is starting to go down? I'm using fish reveal here so that you've got the arch on top of the actual blip. You can actually see the fish diving back down to the bottom, directly underneath me. And then he disappears into the bottom. I don't know if there you can see I'm turning the trolling motor, and it highlights that tree again as it lights up, but you can notice the boat is way off. Okay, I'm going to pause that because there's nothing more really happening there, guys. So make sure you understand range and where is that live scope looking. This experiment for me helped me a hell of a lot. That additional 0.1, that second 0.1 on the trailing motor, and then lining it up with the charts, that was a huge breakthrough for me. I think it's the first time I've ever really spoken about it. Obviously I released this video some time ago, but I didn't really talk much about it. It was there, and I don't know how many people even noticed it. But anyway, you guys might want to think about that. Right, so we said we're going to reverse this whole thing. Now we know the spot, we've live scoped it, we know what it looks like, we know it's a good fishing spot. What if a situation like this happens? No fish. You scan it, the fish aren't there. For that time, you can always come back later. If this was early morning, I would definitely come there. I would come back here at about lunchtime. Here, 12:30, I would definitely come back. Just to make sure something hasn't changed. I'd maybe be a little bit more cautious. I wouldn't get quite as close as what I have here in this video, but I would definitely scan it again and see if we got any visitors. So, at this time, where do I go to now? The fish isn't there, but I want to stay on that similar depth and similar target. So what do? We go to our menu, we go to chart options, we go to our categories. Now remember, as you can see from the video, it's 30 feet, but on the chart it's 45 because the dam is down 15 feet. So we want to only highlight that 45-foot range, but which is actually our 30-foot range. Okay, so how do we do that? So we are going to turn off the 42 to 45. That's our target depth. We're only going to give ourselves a small little window. We can make it bigger, but I want to concentrate it to as close as possible. And I don't want to go deeper than 45. I want to rather keep it a little bit under 45. Just in case there's a thermocline at like 47 feet or something, then you know the fish aren't going to be there. But I don't have a screenshot, as you can see from my down scan, and you can't see if there is a thermocline there. So let's keep it 42 to 45. So what happens there? Then you go to your menu, you go to your chart options, and you change it from full to land only. Okay, so what it's going to do then is, not all of the charts are like this. Some I've just put 10-foot interval contours in there. It was a request that came from people. They said the charts, the mosaics, the Ultra HF is just too busy with all the contours and it's too much work to turn things on and off and whatnot. So they just wanted it simple. But guys, if you do want this on all your charts, we do offer customization. We can customize a chart however you want. We can change the colors, we can do all sorts of things for you, but just keep in mind there is a charge involved. But if you do have a chart that you do want to change, please have a chat with Colleen. Tell her what changes, first of all, what chart it is that you've got, what the changes are that you want to make. We will send you a quote for it, and if you're happy with it, we will make it for you and we'll customize it for you. And you don't have to learn how to do it yourself, which, no, you won't be able to. It's pretty, no, you won't. You'd have to go map the whole dam yourself. That'll be fun. Okay, so we're looking at our 42 to 45 foot range and we're on venties. We're not going to go off venties. Let's stay with venties. What have we got here? You've eliminated so much. You can go wandering around. This is why, look, shorelines are very popular with everybody. Everybody loves targeting shorelines. It's easy. There's not much that has to happen mind-wise. You can see there's a stump, you can see there's a rock, you know your distance to the shore. It's very, very easy. The minute you start targeting offshore structure, things start getting pretty difficult because you don't have a reference. And the only reference you have is your chart. And if you've got a Mickey Mouse chart or you've got a satellite chart, like some people I know that are promoting, they say, these are good fishermen, by the way, they say the only chart you'll ever need is a satellite chart. Good luck with that, brother. And people are listening to you. Yeah, but stop that. You're misinforming people. Okay, so we're in that 42 to 45 feet. You got your live scope on, you got your 360 or whatnot. Guys, sorry, I'm going to take this opportunity to say something here. You're going to get angry. If you asked me a couple of months ago, what is the ideal setup? I'll tell you, Lawrence for your FishTec charts, Helix 10 for your Mega 360, and 9-10 inch Garmin for your live scope, LVS 34. Today, from what I've been watching and how guys are fishing and whatnot, we're moving away from that 360. A live scope, two live scopes, one in scout mode or perspective mode or whatever you want to call it, and the other one in forward facing. I think that's possibly the way to go going forward. I might retract this statement and everyone's going to be up in arms. It's like when I post something on Facebook and I think about it and I go, that wasn't right, and I delete it. John Easton deletes posts on Facebook. Of course I do. I think about things. At that time, it's exactly how I felt. Later, I feel different. I can do that. I'm an adult. I can recognize when I get something wrong. John Easton deletes posts on Facebook. Oh, dear me. Poor Dave. Okay, there's a spot to go to straight away. I would take the shortest route from that tree pop down there, and I would scout that. Just 1, 2 scans, see what's going on there. Maybe over here, boom. That probably looks pretty good. That could be quite interesting. Here, there's a whole lot of little smaller, like little sticky things, from brush, but obviously on one of those clay humps. Scan over there, just give it a quick scan. Don't sit there casting for 20 minutes, half an hour. Just scan it quickly. Perspective mode, see if anything's going on. No, it's good. Now remember, another thing with perspective mode, if you're targeting a specific depth like this, it's quite easy for you to get that thing set perfectly, because you're not going to 3 foot 1 minute and then you're out in 35 foot. No, you are targeting that 30-foot range. This is what you're targeting. So that position is going to work. There's another one just on the edge that you could scan. You could just take your boat and just, on the trolling motor, just go through here quite quickly and then just scan. Use your live scope. Every time you see there's a hump or something interesting or some little stumps in this road, there's quite a nice one. That I would definitely, and you can see it's got like a little point on it, on the contour side, so that is very, very interesting. Okay, this video is getting way too long. Let's go back to where our spot is. Okay, now we know how to do it. Problem. The guys reckon, geez, I watched John's video this morning. I'm off to Inanda, and he said 30 foot, and I'm going to go and look for these things, and I'm going to set my chart to 45 feet and whatnot. No, Inanda now is 100% full. Now, we know what we're after, but now you're in 45 feet, and you might have a thermocline at 32 feet, and of course the fish aren't going to go past there. So, what do? Go to your chart options, go to your categories. Remember, you push with your finger on the left side of the screen there to get your drop-down menu, and you turn off your 45, 42 to 45, because we're looking for that 30-foot range. So we want 27 to 30. 27 to 30. That's because the dam has come up by 15 foot. So that is the range that we're targeting now. It's going to be exactly like it was up there. Let's see what we find now. Okay, that's all moved in. That's moved in. There. Okay, that is now our new range. The dam has come up. It's come up 15 foot. This is what we're going to target. There's a little stump. You can see that little shadow there. Some standing timber. It's not on a hump, but I would give it a scan anyway. Why not? You're there. Before you cast on it, take your live scope, scan it. Come down here. Ooh, nice little ledge. Bass like ledges. Another little one over here. Looks like, from the contours, looks like there's a little hump there with a little end on it. Okay, okay. That can possibly work. Another little ledge, interesting. Not too there we go. That looks quite interesting. Okay, but that's just a ledge. It does have a little bit of standing timber, very small on it. There's a couple of little rocks around here, not too exciting. That's interesting. You see that there? Definitely give that a scope. And there it is. What does old Wayne always say on Facebook? Boom shakalak. There's your boom shakalak right there, Wayne. But you don't have a proper boat. You've got to change it, but that's what you're after. It's got some spawning beds, probably for tilapia, whatever, on there. There's little timbers around there. How close are we to the river edge here? Oh, right here. There's the Umgeni River right there. There's your spot. You scan that, see where the fish are, put a line in. If they're not there, come back later. But did you have to spend 3-4 hours? Did you spend 3-4 hours having to scan this this whole area? No, you didn't. You just stayed within that depth range. And boom, there we go. If, let's say, the depth range that you're targeting is not 30 foot, then you just make the next change, in your categories. You say, no, I want to target 21 to 24. Then go into your categories and change it to 21 to 24 and do exactly the same thing that we did now. Look, though, on the water, without the live scope, you're actually going to have to fish it and see what's going on, and you don't know, is there a 3 kg fish sitting there on that tree, but you're throwing the wrong bait? You don't know. And this is where the live scope comes in. Anything that makes you put an extra cast or change something that could change the outcome on targeting a fish that you know is there and you know it's a bass is worth it. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Like I said, let me know in the comments below what you think about it, and if you think it's worth sharing, please do, and I'll see you guys next time.